Alright, welcome back to Play Live 2018. This is Sarah Cares. We are here with Finalflame. Gonna be doing some Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And this is gonna be the Master System version, so thank you, Finalflame, for your own donation to make that happen.
You're welcome. I didn't want someone to chip in something like $5 for Game Gear, and I got stuck on that because that was the only donation. I'm like, no, I gotta support myself here.
Exactly, so when you're ready, you can go ahead and start.
Alright, let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Sonic 2, this is not the Sonic 2 you're probably used to. This is not the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive version. This is the Sega Master System version, which was actually released before the Genesis game, and they are completely different games. So you'll notice we're not here in Emerald Hill. A couple things you'll notice is I am doing a lot of roll jumps. That is the fastest form of movement in this game. There's no spin dash yet. That did not show up until Sonic 2 16-bit. Something else you're going to notice is this extremely amazing sound you're all going to come to know and love. Enjoy your 300,000 points. And by the way, I can make that go slower. I'm holding down a button to speed it up. So it's as fast as I can go. And this game is very much a large part of the reason we go off of in-game time in a lot of the classic Sonics. Alright, so Underground 2, we are doing best ending. So I have an emerald I need to get. In this category, I have 6 emeralds to collect, 1 in each of the first 5 zones, in Act 2 of them. Most of them are pretty easy to get, as you'll see. Didn't want to grab that minecart, but it happens. So, there's the emerald for this zone right up there. Easy enough. And we're at the end of the stage. So there's 6 of them. 5 of them are collected normally, and 1 will be given to us near the end. Something else you may have noticed is it seems like this game's going a little bit on the slow side. That's because it is. It's the Sega Master System. I am playing on the PAL version. Now, I could plug in my Wii U, go to the Wii VC, and play it off of there, and play at a faster speed NTSC, which sounds better. Except, you actually get better in-game times on this version, so for leaderboard sakes, I play PAL. So here on Underground 3, coming up to everybody's favorite boss. If you've seen the Game Gear version, which you could have donated for, you definitely know what's coming up. You might have some bad memories of it. It's the Antlion. But because this is the Sega Master System version, we're gonna have a bit of an easier time. We didn't really talk about the version differences. The biggest one you can see right now is I can see what I'm doing. Game Gear has a massive screen crunch. You can only see probably a third to a quarter of this screen, which, as you can imagine, especially on boss stages, makes it pretty difficult. It also changes up most of the bosses by quite a bit. In this case, I just stand in one spot and jump, and there's no issues. Don't have to move at all. These balls are in a set pattern, set height, same height every time. Whereas Game Gear, it's not random, but it is different each time. So as you can see, this went from probably the hardest boss on Game Gear, I missed time to jump there, one of the hardest bosses to the easiest boss on this version. And that was Underground. Not much to it. So congratulations, you made it this far as a kid while playing on your silly Game Gear version. Next up is Sky High, and you're just going to die because you have no idea how to use the hang gliders. Let's get real, it happened to all of us. Even when I started speedrunning, I had no idea how to use a hang glider. Maybe you'll get to see a hang glider here. Hit the spring, Sonic, thank you. Get out of my way, enemy. So, there are hang gliders in the next 2 stages. You can actually get by without using either of them. I was going a little slow down that hill, so I'm gonna take it for safety. It's literally just tap left while you're on the hang glider. That's all there is to it. In this stage, you can actually jump over that large gap I flew over without touching the hang glider. It's a very tight jump, and because I had a kind of slow speed going down that ramp, I decided to avoid it just in case. Plus, I haven't actually practiced it in quite a while. Nice glitch, 0. So Sky High 2, this is probably the hardest emerald to get, and it's not really difficult in that it's just precise. So I need to do a pretty precise jump right here. And got it. Wanted to land on that cloud, and hey, there's the emerald. And there's another glider. And yeah, I gotta hit the spikes just because of the jump I got off the glider. Not a big deal. This is definitely the fastest stage in the run when done properly. In both categories, 90% and best ending, you can get a 13. You might be able to get quicker, I'm not sure, but 13's the best I've gotten. So, pretty quick. Let me stay hydrated before Stay Hydrated Bot reminds me. Gotta have some of that water. So, our Sky High boss coming up. Another dumb boss, as they typically are. And I have to always remind myself, coming into this is the one stage I don't want to jump right away. If I do, I end up falling in these pits every time. And we'll see if I can do this boss correctly. It's a little bit tricky, but not too bad. A couple different phases. There's one. And I missed it. Okay. Not a big deal, so just gotta take a little slow down here. And get rid of those eggs. Oh god! And take a death, because all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, this is Game Gear, I need to wait. The joys of practicing two different versions. Let's try that again. So what I should have actually done there is jumped into him right away, because once he attacks you have to dodge that fireball, and it's a little bit difficult. And, birds, please cooperate with me. I mean, it's not like you're in a set pattern or anything, and I shouldn't struggle. And may as well get the derp out of the way now, before the later stages. So even though I'm at 1 life, I do have continues from the emeralds, so that is not a problem. And I purposely took it a little easy there. Alright, now let's try that again. I want to jump into him right away. And that is to prevent him from attacking, and now I don't have to worry about him attacking. So, and the reason I didn't do that the first time is on Game Gear, you actually have to wait to start attacking, or else he will be off screen and you're gonna get hit by fireballs. So, that's what I was talking about earlier. There are some more version differences with the bosses. Alright, so we're done with Sky High, thank God. Aqua Lake shouldn't be too bad. That's coming up next. And probably one of my favorite tracks on the game. There's quite a lot of good music from this game. And I always like pointing out this is the only track to have a remix on OC Remix from this game. So if you like music remixes, if you like to make them, get some more from this game, please. So another pretty short stage, and if we're lucky, we'll get a nice little ending here coming up. Well, that was good. Normally when I do that, I'm actually facing left. So it looks like a little more swag. Oh, sweet, got an extra life. I forget why it gives me that. Still a pretty nice ending. Aqua Lake 2 coming up is one of the longer stages in the run. Actually, it might be the longest stage in the run, now that I think about it. Yeah, it is. It's one of my favorite. It's another one that's very different between game versions. I do not like it in Game Gear. It's horrible. But in Master System, it's nice, it's scenic, you actually get to go through most of the stage. Hey, a fake floor. Keep that in mind for later. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're gonna hold right just then at a visual cue I used, and that is to land on that and skip an invincibility box and having to go across a long spike pit. In case you haven't noticed, with this being an 8-bit game and old, it is a little bit on the laggy side. So, we don't really want that invincibility. It slows us down. So this bubble I am holding up, and you can control it left and right. Holding up speeds it up, holding down slows it down. It's something you actually see a bit in Sonic Mania. That's okay, don't want to end up on the left side there. There is a fake floor you can fall down, and it just ends up being slow. I need to be careful here not to hit a wall. If I hit a wall, it bursts the bubble. I have to go all the way back down. But we made it. Gotta try and kill these enemies here. Just for a little bit of lag reduction. I have heard some of those remixes, Omla. They're pretty good. So I missed a little clip. So, look left, don't blink, you'll miss it. Hey, it's speed shoes. We're not going to get them. They are absolutely useless. And they are the only instance of speed shoes in Sonic 2 8-bit. And that exact spot in the Game Gear version is replaced with a 10 ring box. Game Gear does not have speed shoes. So we just had to take this long path to get the emerald, and now we have to go all the way back to where we just were. And you might be wondering why we would go back there when we were at a dead end. Hey, remember that fake floor at the beginning of the stage? There's a fake wall right here. And we're going to clear that gap, because if you fall down that gap, you end up in another part of the stage that takes forever to get through. It's a pain. It's rip run if I go down there. So it's the Aqua Lake boss. Pretty simple. Another one that has slight differences between versions, but still not that bad. Alright, just want to avoid the spring there. I have a bad habit of doing that. So a couple of these bosses seem to have what I'll call an extra attack in Game Gear. This one, if you're standing next to it, he'll do what Cronoon has called a tail whip, and it's a pretty accurate description for it. But in this version, you can stand next to him, and that's not an issue. I've gotten kind of lucky here. I actually want to jump a bit higher on those jumps. Otherwise, what can happen is he'll run under me, and I'll bounce on top of him, and it just wastes a couple seconds, but no issues there. And we are halfway through what would be the any % run if I was doing that. And coming up on Green Hills, what I like to call the extra life farm. If you made it this far miraculously, you are given a lot of lives. Relatively speaking, as long as you know how to get to them. Also, pretty good music in this stage. This game really does have some good tracks on it. A lot of people don't ever get to hear them, though. Alright, start rolling here. There's 1 life. 2 lives. There's more. 1, 2... Oh, I didn't get a roll jump. Well, we're taking the slow path through here. Oh god, no ring. That's not good. It's been a while since I've done that. So, I could show you there's another life above us, by the way. That was the difference between a roll jump and a regular jump. If I had done a roll jump, I would have landed just next to that extra life or on top of it and broken it. But because I didn't get my roll off and I just did a regular jump, I landed well short. Alright, Green Hills 2. This is, again, our Emerald stage. The Emerald in this one, hang on. I didn't make the jump. Let's bail and take the back up. A little bit of a tricky intro for me. And also another extra life. That we're not getting. But yeah, the Emerald in this one isn't too bad. It's pretty easy to mess it up and miss, but you can also very easily go back and try again. And I think I'm alright. Oh, God! Never mind, spoke too soon. I can't remember the last time I did that. Actually, I don't know if I have done that one before. Let's try that again. Normally what'll happen to me is I miss the second set of springs. I undershoot it because I feel like I have to back off. I have yet to run off the cliff. But fortunately, you can just go left and get right back up there. This coming up, Green Hills 3, is one of the dumber stages in the run. Especially on Game Gear, it's blind jumps the game. Because almost the entirety of the bottom of the stage is a spike pit. Right now, there's some springs scattered throughout. But as of now, it is entirely spikes, other than the springs I am hitting. This was not made before the first Sonic on Genesis. This was made before Sonic 2 Genesis. Alright, so this is actually a bit of a difficult boss, and it does have some RNG in it. So whether I can get 1 hit or 2 per cycle. Right now I'm getting a pretty bad pattern. And I could have had another hit in already, but I kind of bailed. It was a little bit dangerous to get it. And I landed next to him. Well, in case you blinked and missed the stage, we're gonna do it again. Yeah, that is definitely one of the trickier boss fights in this run. Especially when you get greedy like I do. This is also why I give a conservative estimate on this. Or a safe estimate. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, good RNG so far. Alright, I want another 2-hit pattern. Got it. Okay, much better that time. I also had much better RNG on that. And then I mistimed my jump and got stopped by the screen lock. I'm glad to be out of Green Hills. I hope y'all are too. That stage sucks. Alright, so next up, Gimmick Mountain. Not really much to say about it. It can be a bit tricky, or it can be not too bad. Another version difference between Master System and Game Gear is on Game Gear and in certain revisions of the Master System game, there is a spring at the bottom of here. Cool physics. And that spring would be used to skip that first pinwheel. I gotta take a safety here and grab this invincibility. You don't actually need it to do what I'm about to do. Why did I jump? But it's... Oh god, this is going bad. Okay, I'm suddenly glad I have the invincibility, and it might wear off before I make this. So, unintended skip here. You're meant to take a minecart through here. Okay. I did not think I deserved to make it through, but I did. You can do that without invincibility, make it across that spike pit, but it's a very, very, very tight timer. And because I lost a lot of time with the invincibility early on, I didn't think I was going to make that. Yes, it's actually called Gimmick Mountain. That wasn't a joke. I hate the start of Gimmick 2. Alright, we survived the start of Gimmick 2. Hang a left. Don't forget about fake walls, because this is the only way to the Emerald in this stage. So if somehow you ever got this far in a casual gameplay and never found the Emerald, that might be why. So that is our 5th Emerald. I did not want to grab those. That is our 5th Emerald, and that is the last one we will be achieving via just normal find it in the level. The last one... Can I please time a jump? Thank you. The last one will be given to us, the game takes pity, you know. Oh, and we're going down to the bottom because I mistimed the jump. Those bombs really suck. And I jump here, I take it slow, because otherwise I seem to get input locked and go through a wall on the right side. And that is the first time I've ever actually avoided the 2 bombs I did in that stage. I'm happy with that. The time sucked. The middle of the stage sucked. But I didn't get hit by the bombs. That's the important part. Gimmick Mountain 3 coming up. Probably out of all the stages is the one I should have practiced notes. Because I didn't, I'm going to take it a little safe on the boss. This stage is a little bit on the boring side, kind of like an auto-scroller. I don't know if we've had any donations. If we do, now would be a great time to talk about it. Or maybe a donation incentive coming up. Because I just have to wait on these platforms.
No worries. Just want to let you guys know we do have some quick Sonic donations incentives out there. We do have Sonic 06. We have Send Sonic to the Moon. So it's $50 for that one. Also have Sonic R New Game Plus 100% needs to be raised for $50. And let's see. We do have some other ones. Sonic Forces language choice, either English or Japanese. So if you click on our polls, that's where our bid wars are. Still plenty more out there.
Just be sure to donate for them. And if y'all need a recommendation of what to donate to, there's also a donation incentive for tomorrow, or a poll, if you will, for the other game I'm running, Link to the Past randomizer for sprite choice. So if for some reason nothing from today tickles your fancy, take a look at that. So I said I was going to take it easy on this boss. Ooh, that was a little bad. You can actually roll into him and get hits that way and make the fight about 10 seconds shorter, 5 to 10. But I have never been good at it. And I realized when I entered the stage, I didn't practice it, so I'm not going to do it. Because you saw how long that stage was. If I die at the boss, because I don't have rings in these stages, I end up all the way back at the beginning. I don't want to go through that again. Alright, so on to what would be the last zone if we were doing any percent. Scrambled Egg. Again, some great music. And I really like Scrambled Egg 1. It's a maze stage, as you will see. So we gotta go through these little tubes and decide where we want to get spit out at. The real maze part comes later, as well as a little skip. If you haven't noticed, this game is pretty glitchless. There are glitches in it. Nothing that we found that is of use in a speedrun. So there is one stage that's done very unintended, but I don't do the strat because it's difficult and I've yet to actually get it a single time. That's in the next stage. This has actually been a good Scrambled Egg 1 so far. I am going to do a decent skip here, and there's 2 skips I could do here. One only saves a second and a half. I'm not going to do that. We are going to damage boost across the spike pit and then back up, and we're back on this platform. Now I can jump in that tube that was just above me and land on this platform, and from there jump into this tube. But if you miss that, and it is a bit of a tight window, if you miss that, you die. So I don't want to do that. And that is the real maze section, down right, down left, the only path through, and the time just ticked over to a minute. One thing you don't really see in this, but it does exist, this time carryover. You'll see that in some games like CD11, another game I run, where it's visible. The centiseconds don't reset per level. Same thing here, except you don't see them. So this stage, you could save 5 seconds at the start by using these bombs to bounce into a tube in an unintended way. I don't do that, because I can't do that. So instead I'm going to take this path to stay away from the bottom of the stage. Another extra life. Hopefully I won't need it. It's very possible I'm going to go through all these lives coming up. If you haven't seen the final boss of this game, it's a doozy. So we're going to wait, jump, and you have to go through this loop. It doesn't look apparent why, but if you don't do that, that platform I landed on won't be in that position yet, and you will fall into the spike pit. I learned that the very first run of this game I did, when I learned to speedrun it. I'm like, why does it go around there? I'm going to avoid that, and I fell to my death. So on to Scrambled Egg 3, again, if we were doing any percent, this would be the last stage. Would be the final boss. It's actually an easy boss. One that you might recognize. One that will also be making an appearance in our next game. First, we gotta get through this spring maze. I call it a spring maze. It's not a maze, it's just a matter of getting up to the top. I'm gonna skip a spring by clipping the edge of that platform. And off to the boss. I will say, by not donating for Game Gear, we don't get the good boss music, unfortunately. Master System boss music's just alright. So say hello to Silver Sonic. You might recognize him from Sonic Mania. This is where he came from. I expect a lot of people did not know that when they encountered him in Mania. This is another boss that has some RNG, as you can see. So we need 8 hits, that's 7. So if you actually jump into his ball form while you're in ball form, you won't take damage, you'll just bounce each other across the room. And you couldn't see it there because I was quick about it, but he dropped the 6th Chaos Emerald. He only drops that if you have the other 5. So because now we have all 6, we are off to Crystal Egg Zone. Again, more good music. This stage is pretty short. My goal is to stay on the top of the stage up to here. If you fall down at any point, as I am now on purpose, there's a long spike pit, and it's really not that bad. You can damage boost across the entire thing as long as you have a ring. So even during casual gameplay, you really shouldn't have an issue there. 17 seconds, another fast stage. Crystal Egg 2 coming up next, another one of my favorite stages because of how long it is. Our goal is basically to climb to the top right portion of the level. And I'm actually going to use this time to talk about the final boss of this game, which will be after the next stage, because I'm not going to have time to talk about it during it. If I do the final boss right, it's going to look like the easiest boss you have ever seen, and the fight will be over in less than 20 seconds. If I do the boss fight wrong, I will probably take an intentional death and fight again. Our goal during the boss fight is to basically get our 10 hits on the boss as quick as possible. That was a bad jump. We get moving pinwheels here. Yeah, we want to attack him as quick as possible, and that will actually prevent Robotnik from attacking if you do it just right. It's very tricky, and while I have yet to fail it while on PB pace outside of a marathon, I have yet to get it first try in a marathon, so maybe I'll actually break that streak today. It would be nice. Almost done with this stage. Gives you a great chance to listen to the music. Don't fall in the pit I just jumped over. It is death on the Master System version. There is no way out. And I missed the spring. Okay, I guess we're going this way. Fun fact, I just passed over a continue box. It is the only one of its kind in this game. So off to Crystal Lake 3. Hopefully time's coming up soon. Hopefully I'll get the boss first try. Fingers crossed. And I'm actually going to be silent while I try and do this. This has already gone wrong. Yep. The streak continues. So, I hit my jump buttons too early and unfortunately didn't get my jump. And at that point it was a rip. Jump buttons, please go. Maybe it's time for a new controller. Yeah, you can do this fight normally, but it's shorter for me to take these resets because it's a very long fight, very dumb fight, very difficult fight. Dude, okay, this is actually getting ridiculous. Let's try doing this. I might have to use a continue. As I said, this boss is actually no joke. Okay, so I got 8 of the 10 hits. I'm going to go ahead and do it normal from here because I should be able to. And you'll be able to see why I don't do this normally. Because of all these dumb attacks going through. Please tell me I timed this right. Yep, okay. So get ready, and time. Not the best of boss fights, but I got through. But normally, if you do this normally, you can only get 1 or 2 hits in per cycle, which is why I take the intentional deaths. So with all those deaths, it still ends up being faster for me to do that fight normally at the end. It's a dumb fight. It really is. Oh.
Alright, final time was a 27-21. GG.
Okay, underestimate, I think. Estimate was 30, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, good. I don't feel bad then. So yeah, that was 8-bit Sonic 2 for the Sega Master System. It is certainly an adventure. Oh, and that's a slow score countdown because I wasn't holding down the buttons. And this is why it's called Best Ending. This is the best ending. We've rescued Tails. Why? We're not quite sure. Seriously, why the heck do we rescue Tails?
For all the crap he does? Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. This is where the series just went downhill. After this, there's nothing left. But that is all I've got. So coming up next continues the Sonic block, and I believe it's Mania next, correct?
Yes, it is. Sonic Mania time. So
Alright.
we'll be back in a few minutes. Or we're going to do some Sonic hat cam as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. We'll be back in a few minutes.